Hello, everybody. Welcome to Over a Couple of Drinks presents The Regulars. We're talking about Jessica Jones tonight. And with me is the beautiful Jessica. Because we did that on purpose. Not really.
Token Jessica.
Our token regular. Hey, well, welcome back. I don't know if you guys missed the Welcome Back podcast, but this is our Welcome Back regular show, so hello.
Woo!
What are you drinking tonight, Jess?
Mulled cider.
Ooh, I'm drinking cherry wheat.
Ooh, cherry wheat.
Out of a Star Wars koozie.
Good, as you should. There's nothing wrong with that. We are classy.
I feel like I should have been wearing purple tonight since you're our only regular on tonight and you're Jessica.
I'm wearing purple. You can't see it, though. It's underneath my shawl thingy that I'm wearing. There's purple.
So, tonight we're talking about Jessica Jones. And let's get a little bit out of the way. Let's just talk freely about it for a moment before we get into it. I knew nothing about Alias, or a.k.a. Jessica Jones, the comic book, before this. Did you?
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh, I should also stipulate that we're talking about the first two episodes, Ladies' Night and Crush Syndrome.
Yes.
Though we had a problem, everyone I think except LB, the reason why he's not here, we watched ahead because this show is just that damn good.
I can't stop.
No, you can't.
I just can't.
Like with Daredevil, I kind of knew what I was getting into. I know Daredevil really, really well. I don't know a lot of his obscure characters. I don't know a lot of like in-depth different storylines, but I know the major points. I know a lot of major things about him. And that was enjoyable for me to take my time. But I couldn't stop with Jessica Jones at all. I'm on like episode 7 now. So going back is kind of a little rough trying to figure out what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle.
It's going to be a bit of a struggle, boss.
But hey, we'll figure it out, and we'll try not to do spoilers.
Try not to. I kind of put my own parameters on my spoiler sheet so I wouldn't go past them. But I want to say this right now. I was worried for this show when they cast Kristen Ritter. Because I love her dearly. I do. I think she's hilarious. But the only thing I ever saw her in was like supporting comedy roles. I never saw her in like a lead.
Yep.
So I was afraid. Put that fear to rest. Girl owns it. She fucking destroys this.
Perfect for this role.
She's great. She's fantastic. And also, if you're like, I'm expecting another Daredevil, you throw that expectation out the window too. Because this is totally different.
Same quality, though.
Oh,
same quality.
Same quality and same care for the source material.
Right.
Total love for the comics. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
This, like, another fear I had was, would they follow up the quality and love and care from Daredevil? And, you know, if this one bombed, then everyone's going to be really worried about, you know, Luke Cage and Iron Fist and the Defenders and all that. Nope, put it to rest. Netflix knows what they're doing.
Netflix is here to save the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, they didn't do a huge job at advertising it either.
No.
Which, you know, it's Netflix. They don't really advertise. But, like, you know, I didn't know about it until you guys were like, Jessica Jones. I was like, Jessica what? And then I watched it and, like, very quickly fell in love with all of it. It's everything that anybody who's, like, a detective nerd, I guess, like, people who really like detectives are going to love it. People who like superheroes are going to love it.
Yeah.
Marvel, like, everything is going to, it's just so good.
Fair warning, though, and this is one of my big stipulations of the show, is that they do a lot of adult content just to be edgy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sex scenes that we
It's
don't
It's on Netflix.
I'm just saying we don't need it. I mean, they don't show anything, but we don't need, like, what we're even getting. I'm just expecting a little bit more class, but at the same time, it's a minor problem I have with the show. Okay? Especially later on when you get into a character named Trish. Like, her sex scenes are just overly graphic for no reason at all. So, let's dive into episode 1. Ladies' Night. Jess, would you like to talk about it first?
I mean, it's kind of like your typical pilot. It sets up a lot of, like, questions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you start to get the feel that she's got superpowers. You start to see, like, yes, she's a, like, private investigator, and they start setting things up
Yeah.
in a way that in a way that it draws your people in.
Yeah.
It draws the watchers in. It's not like a typical pilot where it's just like, here's a bunch of storyline that you don't care about and it's really boring and oh my god, why would I watch that second episode? Which sometimes, that's with a lot of the really popular series that I've watched and followed and whatnot, it's really, you've got to commit to starting those first 3 episodes. I did not feel that.
No.
At all.
To a degree, it went almost the opposite direction where it didn't tell
Absolutely.
you, like, you don't know Trish and Jessica's relationship at all. They have like a few lines together, and other than like seeing her talk show billboard at places, you don't even get Trish's name. You don't get Luke's name. I think we only get Hogarth's name because someone said something.
Right.
And like we don't get a lot of information here. It literally made me claw at it, going, "Who are these people? What is going on here?" And thank God it wasn't like a week-to-week episode, because I'd be actually upset if I had to wait a week to get these answers.
Right.
I mean, if you think of it like that way, I know we don't live in that world anymore where I could just go into IMDb and figure out everybody's fucking name. But, it didn't give me anything, and yet it was totally enthralling. It was amazing, because you have Kristen Ritter, who comes out at just swinging for the fences right away. Like I said, I can't talk about oh my God, I love what she does with the character, how she acts, how she portrays everything, and just everything. She's fantastic, and she owns the part from the second you see her. Like, I think the first thing you see her in is throwing some guy through her window.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, yeah, that's what we're getting into. All right.
That's this. All right, I'm into it. I don't know why it's happening, but it is happening, and that's, and it builds so many questions, and I think that's Netflix honing in on utilizing the delivery that they are able to give by releasing full on seasons in just like all at once, that they're triggering people to binge watch it, opposed to people who are like dying to watch the thing the next week.
Oh yeah, and that's what a lot of other TV shows do when they do week to week. Like I remember when I watched True Blood. Oh God, the first season was literally a cliffhanger at the end of every
single
episode.
time.
So you're just like, I have to watch next week, even though I fucking hate this show. And this show does that in a way too. Not so much in the later episodes, but in some episodes, the ending is just like, oh my dear God, I need to see what happens next. I need the next moment. And they do a fantastic job. I think I liked right away. You get a very different feel from Daredevil. Another thing is, like, one of the things that is very different from Daredevil is Kilgrave, played by David Tennant, is everywhere.
Right.
And in the first episode, I wish they would do this in later episodes, but the first episode, you really see Jessica's PTSD from him. Really scary shit, too. Like, flat out creepy, haunting, demented stuff. And it's wow. That's just a shift from where Daredevil was. Like, Daredevil was building a mystery on who's in charge, how they're going to stop him.
Right.
This show, if I had to pick one feeling, is paranoia. It's like the first couple dozen episodes, well, actually, even where I'm at, it's a lot of paranoia because of Kilgrave's powers, which we find out is mind control. Do we find that in the first one? At least in the second one we find out it's mind control. He can say something and people will do it. And do they play that up to the nth degree? Oh my God.
It's not a suggestion. They play it differently than you see normal people do mind control, with being able to control people's actions by just like thinking about it. You actually see the cause and effect of him just saying something as like a mere a suggestion. And it's incredible. I mean, but really, it plays a lot into like that concept of an abusive relationship, and like brings to light what emotional abuse really is. And I think that's a ballsy subject to take on. And
they do it so well. That's like the overall arcing tone of this show thus far. I don't know, you're farther than me if they keep it up. But it is the feeling of, this is the tale of an abusive relationship. Yes, they have superpowers, but if you strip it all away, this is that. And this is happening to people all over the world.
And that's where it goes into her first case with Hope. Yeah. Like, it sounds, she goes into it thinking that it's just another case, but it sounds almost identical to what happened to her. It doesn't, they don't actually start like, I think, it's like near the end of episode 1 or even into episode 2 where they really start addressing that, like, yeah, it's Kilgrave and he's
we find out in episode 1 because episode 1, where it ends, I know this. This is the only reason why I know where certain things happen, because where it ends. And trust me, we'll get to that because this is a spoiler episode. No, she finds out when she goes to the restaurant, and it's now like a Thai place or something. I don't remember what. And she goes, "Oh fuck," or something like that. And she walks in and she starts talking to people, and they go, "Yeah, a British guy came in with her." And she's like, "Oh no," and she starts remembering what happened to her. And they the waiter tells them that this guy came in, ordered an Italian dinner at
in a Thai place.
At a Thai place, and somehow my cook cooked it. I don't know what the hell happened. And that's constantly what happens to all these people, and it's really creepy. Like, I don't remember where it is, but we'll probably forget about it. But I just want to bring it up. Like, one time she's walking down the street, and a little 8-year-old girl calls out her name and delivers a message from Kilgrave. And you kind of go, oh my God, what is happening in this episode? What is happening in this show? I don't know who to trust. And that's exactly how Jessica feels through most of this series so far.
Right. I guess, like, the neat concept of it is that it gives you, like, yes, paranoia, but a paranoia that you don't usually experience from a TV show. You'll experience from, like, a first-person shooter video game or a story, like an adventure video game, story building video game, something that you'd get from, like, Alan Wake, where, like, you're getting it and you're starting to get paranoid and worried about the people. And, like, you sit there through the episode and you wonder, like, are these people, like, honest, or are the people that are talking to her, are they talking to her because they want to talk to her? Are they talking to her because Kilgrave was trying to drop things and drop hints and whatnot? And it just freaks me out.
We also need to talk about a huge character from the Marvel Universe who will be getting a show. Luke Cage shows up because in the comics, I do know Luke Cage and Jessica Jones do get married in the comics. I don't know if they're going to do this in the TV show, but he shows up. I love the actor. I don't know his name, but he plays this, like, how do I put him? Honestly, if he was cast in X-Men, he better play Colossus, because he plays like the Mountain kind of feel, where he's like, I'm big, strong, but I'm real cool. Don't mess with me, I won't mess with you. This very passive thing until later episodes. But I love him. He even shows up in his, like, yellowish gold shirt and jeans, and I'm like, hell yeah, sweet Christmas. and we'll get into that in episode 2. Do we want to wrap up episode 1 right now with the ending?
Sure.
So, I'll set it up and you deliver the punchline, because it was woof. Jess follows the leads and because she knows where Kilgrave will be, because he's following the same things he did with her that we still don't know what they were, because it's all unraveling, like, terrible ball of yarn that my cat has played with and ate and puked up. She goes to the restaurant. He was there. She goes to the hotel that he always took her to, goes to the same room, and she's sitting there in bed wanting to leave but physically can't because he told her not to move, and she wet the bed because of it. And you kind of go, what? And she just picks her up, tries to take her out, and she starts fighting tooth and nail. And you're just like, what the fuck is this guy's power? What is its limitations? And you're really frightened. You're frightened, and you're like, okay, good. Jess got Hope away. That's the girl's name, Hope. I don't know if we said that or not. Got Hope away. Everything's going to be okay. Takes her back to her apartment, and you go dryly.
And you think everything's fine. She calls the parents, say, I've got her, come get her. And there's this reconnecting moment, and it's beautiful. And you think, wow, she's a great private eye, and she solved the mystery. And you think that's the kind of setup for the show, is that she's just going to be solving these mysteries. And it's hooray, happy feelings. And then as, like, they go into the elevator, and as the elevator doors are shutting, like, Hope, like, looks at Jessica and then pulls out a gun and shoots her parents.
Multiple times.
Yeah. And, like, you find that's going into the next, like, the rest of it, that's an underlining, like, now we're trying to save Hope.
As well as sort of Jessica's soul.
Right. I mean, and then just, like, Jessica, and you don't know why Jessica identifies with this particular act yet, but it resonates in Jessica, and she wants to champion Hope. She wants to defend, like, her honor and say, we know that, like, this wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
How are we going to prove this? And then you find out that's the setup for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Basically, is trying to justify that.
God. I'm looking up a character's name real quick. So jumping into episode 2, we see sort of the fallout of everything.
Mm-hmm.
We see, and it keeps building off of this fucking terrible thing of events. Jess actually becomes more and more paranoid to a degree that it's kind of frightening. You know, because we just can't, you know, grab onto her going like, okay, you're our hero, we can hang everything off of. We can't hang anything off of Jessica because she's just a big old ball of crazy because she doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Right.
And it's I mean, that makes really good television, really, because you kind of go, I'm supposed to put all my faith in you, but I don't know if you're actually insane or things are getting the better of you because she's drinking constantly.
Well, and
she has every right to.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like it freaks me out like a little bit how intense it represents PTSD, like because and like the character development of it that they put into creating her is just fascinating because basically what it comes down to is like, yeah, that's what she's doing to deal with it, and you don't know if these flashbacks are real. You don't know if you don't know what these flashbacks mean even really at this point.
No,
and that's when they start revealing that in that second episode about the mind control.
Or if, you know, Kilgrave have altered her memories in any way, shape, or form. Because we don't know what his powers are.
What kind of mind control he has.
Yeah, we don't know, so you don't know if, like, she's only remembering parts that she wants to remember. And that's... I mean, it does a great job of building off of what was already there in episode 1, and then it just keeps going, and it's great. This episode, we find out Luke's name, we find out Trish's backstory, we find out a little bit more about Hogarth, because I think that's when the divorce starts happening. Hogarth is the high attorney lawyer lady who
that
actually,
Jessica works for primarily.
Yeah, who is also a male in the comics, and they just decided to gender flop, and I think it was fantastic because Carrie Ann Wall, is that her name? Carrie Ann...
Maybe.
Imdib. Carrie Ann Moss, who is Trinity from The Matrix. Great job.
Perfect.
Fucking everybody in the show. Fucking great.
Spot on casting. Like, kudos to that casting director.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think really at this point we really haven't seen Kilgrave's face.
No, we get that towards the end of this episode, which I did mark out as a bullet point because he has one hell of a great entrance. But before then, we have a bar fight, with which we find out full on Luke Cage has his powers. As you get this great bar fight, and if you're like, okay, well, great, we're gonna get a fight scene just like Daredevil. Nope. This is two superpowered people beating the shit out of like just pugs, just people that are like, I think I'm a badass, and Jess throws like a guy across the room with like her finger. And I mean, yeah, she gets hurt a little bit because she's not indestructible. But you see Luke Cage just like, I think he takes a chair and a bottle to the face, and he gives this look of, did you really just do that? Did you? And it was just great. It was fun. It was fun, and it's everything like haha, it's a funny superhero film still, you know. Red shirt.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, and then they start getting more into like, lost my train of thought. It's absolutely gone.
Don't worry about it. We'll just keep moving. I
was really excited about something, and then the thought just ran away.
I think we get to see more of Jess's powers too in this? Like she breaks some locks, like just
You kind of get to see that she's actually has superpowers and she's not like just real strong.
yeah.
Like
I
there's a
think she
part where
crushes
you're
a few
like,
doors.
maybe she's really fit, like, and that's why she can do these. Like, I like, you know, if you're going into it not having any understanding of her as a superhero, I mean, if you didn't get the fact that it was being produced by Marvel and you're still trying to figure out like
She could
what
just
you're
be
doing
really
with your life,
fit.
like she could just be like really fit. And then she started like breaking locks off of lockers
Yeah.
and breaking doors and everything. You're like, okay, calm down.
Oh god, this is the episode where we find out what happened to the ambulance driver.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so talking plot wise real quick, we find out that Kilgrave is still alive from a car accident, naturally, that happened a year ago, which is what Jess got away from him. And the ambulance that was supposed to take him to the hospital didn't. The ambulance driver had surgery to remove both his kidneys to give to Kilgrave
Because he wanted both.
because he wanted both, even though he wasn't a match for him. And this guy is like living on a dialysis machine with his crazy mother, and Jess goes to go see him, and she's like, "Did Kilgrave do this?" And he starts writing "kill," and she's like, "Yeah, Kilgrave, I'll get him. Me, please." And it's just fucking terrifying.
Yeah, no, and like the whole thing, and it just shows like the depth of his powers, like, and how intelligent he is in using them and crafty. He's so crafty. It's not just like tell random people on the street to do it. No, like he's gone through like a thought process. Because then you find out that some doctor's paying for it, for the dialysis machine. Some doctor
who did the surgery.
Who did the surgery, and that's how like we start finding out more about like Kilgrave's survival and like where has he been, what has he been doing, and all this time, because it's been 6 months since the accident.
Is it only been 6 months? I thought it was a year.
It might. Oh,
I don't know.
It's like 6 months, 8 months to a year, maybe 8 months. That sounds more right.
Maybe. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but like it's just, it's so incredible like how deep it goes, and like, but that's like a true, I mean, and that way they're honoring like the true detective feel of the show.
Yeah, like she follows the leads. She's really smart on how to do things and how to like what to grasp onto, what not to. Because in a later episode we found out like her interviewing people who has been under Gail Kilgrave's mind control, and it's a really good like detective scene, like a really good detective scene. We also get the feeling that maybe Jess is right, that Kilgrave is out for vengeance. Real, like, putting the pieces together, it makes sense that he wants her to suffer real bad, because dude needed 2 kidneys. We also find out that he cannot go under like medical comatose or whatever. Right,
because he's afraid of it, and that's a huge plot point, because that then Jessica finds out what like his vice is, what his kryptonite is, like what will cripple him and stop his powers.
And we got something to build off of.
Is this the episode where she does the interviews?
No, that's later. I think it's later. It's later when we find out about a character. I don't want to spoil it just yet.
Okay, because I was gonna say, because there's that part with Trish before the interviews happen, and I thought that was like another episode.
No. This isn't the interview yet on radio. We'll figure it out.
This is why we can't have nice things.
We can't have nice things because we watched too far ahead. So towards the end of the episode, we get Kilgrave's entrance when he walks in on a family of 4 to their apartment. Dude, he knocks on the door. Dude opens it. He goes, "You want to invite me in?" "Yes, please come in." And it just becomes this really like, okay, I'm pulling out my parent card. It's really like scary what happens, because he like he comes in there, the wife's freaking out. "Who is this?" "I'll be living with you indefinitely." "Oh, welcome, here, sit down." And like there's kids playing. "Who are you? And he steps on a car and he goes, "Children should be seen and not heard." The kid instantly shuts up. He goes, "Get in the closet." Gets in the closet, and like the little girl's like, "I have to use the bathroom." "Go in there." And like locks them in the closet. And I'm just like, as a parent, I go, no.
Right.
And you just kind of go, this man is a monster.
Right.
Like, everything that we've been built up to think in our mind of Kilgrave, he is worse in person. And he is terrifying. I don't know, if you got something different than that, that's...
No, I think that's the real kicker on the episode, is like how ruthless he is. I'm trying to think
subtly ruthless. It's not like he went out and stabbed somebody. He'll make somebody else do it. He's very he's very British. And that's not a dig at David Tennant either. It's just like, he's very British in the sense of, why would I get my hands dirty when I can get somebody else's hands dirty?
Well, and like David Tennant's so charming too, and like it plays into it.
That is a major problem later on.
It is, and
you're too charming for your own good, sir.
Right. I'm trying to think of what we may have not talked about about this episode, because they built more on Trish and Jessica's relationship, right?
We find out that Trish, I don't know if we found out about her past per se. Maybe
we didn't find out about her past, but we did find out that like we get a glimpse for their best friends. We get a glimpse into Jessica's apartment, Trish's apartment, which is also like this really strange building curiosity moment, because you're like, all right, this bitch has like fingerprint locks for her door, like super high like
security
protection and security, and you're like, why does she need that? She's this talk show host. Like, that's a little weird. And like
bruises on her arm and like on her neck, and you're like, the fuck is going on? Right.
But I think you also see, like, they show you that, and then you follow her into a room with her trainer, and you find out that she's also learning like Krav Maga.
Yep.
Like, what's going on here? So you've got like this actual like super badass superhero, which Jessica Jones, and then her badass best friend who's trying to be a superhero. And you think, like, what is paralleling here that they feel like that Trish feels like she needs to like rise up and be at Jessica's level.
Yeah.
And that's a burning curiosity that they're building that they talk about later in the episodes, but it keeps you wanting to know more, and when you see Trish in a scene, you pay attention.
She's not just pretty face to tag along and be the sidekick. She's building her own story. We want to know more about it. It's very good. I mean, it's very interesting what they show. We also get more of Hope in this episode in a very brutal way, where she like tells Jessica this is all her fault, that you didn't kill him when the bus hit him, that Kilgrave. And like this really...
and you find that Kilgrave's like comparing all these girls that he's had sent to Jessica.
Like saying, were you a good jumper?
Yeah.
I was a good jumper. I was like high jumper, but I wasn't as good as you. And you're just like, oh God, what's happening? Oh
and this
God.
When you know, like before you know that Jessica has like super jump powers. Like,
no, we saw her do super jump in like the first episode. Yeah, she jumps up in.
Again, I thought she was just really fit.
Well, I think that was good that she jumped up and she could use the ladder, but you know they don't really play up on it until I think the bar fight, and then a little bit later when she starts like ripping bars off, like steel bars. You're like, fuck it.
Bloop, bloop,
so
bloop.
This episode ends with Jess coming home, finding out that Kilgrave can be knocked out with medical like meds. Like knockout meds for surgery.
Medical meds. Nailed it.
10 out of 10. Medical like knockout stuff. I don't remember what it's called. Like
starts with an S.
Some shit.
Ends with an L.
Sullivan
or something like that.
Something like that. Like
I'll just make
medical surgery knockout drug.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
something that'll knock you out.
Yeah. Puts you under. For the knife.
Perfect.
It's Zydrate. We're calling it Zydrate. Zydrate.
It comes in a little glass vial.
A little glass vial.
A little glass vial.
It goes into the gun like a battery. And she comes home, and standing in her apartment is Luke Cage, and goes, "I saw you," and he puts a tabletop saw
Cirque saw.
into his chest, and it breaks. It's like his stomach. The chest sounds better. And it breaks, and that's where it ends. And I'm so happy Luke Cage has his powers already, and Jessica Jones has her powers already, because we really didn't get a sense of like super powered people in Daredevil. Yeah,
no, Daredevil wasn't really like super powery. It was like he's just like super observant.
Yeah, he's like super observant, and he trained really hard to be this like martial artist badass.
Right.
And you know, he could take on Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, but like Jessica Jones needs to get one hit in. She'd be like, oh, "Okay, flippy son of a bitch." Pop.
Just like punch him in the chest. Oh.
Oops.
Oops.
So, I mean, like, getting this, like, sense of, like, superheroes and, like, in this style of, like, a more serious, like, you know, in the part in The Incredibles when, like, they're trying to live their normal everyday life? Like, that's this, but the serious version of it. Like, the hardcore, serious, here are these normal people with normal jobs. Let me just pick up a car because this guy pissed me off.
Right.
And I like that. It's fun.
It's fun. I like it. And I'm excited to talk about it more.
Yes.
Because, like, it gets so much more intense. And, like, I'm just really excited about it. And I feel like I'm probably going to have to, like, rewatch it again and again and again. And it's got that replayability factor because I feel like there are Easter eggs and things that I might not have picked up on the first time around. And I'm really excited.
The only thing I don't really know is where it kind of fits in the timeline of things. Like
it happens after Avengers.
Yeah, we know what happens after Avengers. There's a line in it that makes it sound like it's going parallel with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in like the first episode when she picks the guy's car up and he goes, "Oh my God, you're one of them."
Right.
Where Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is having this big breakout of Inhumans. She's not Inhuman. Okay, don't worry. We find out in the next episode a very good tidbit of information about that. But, like, we don't know if it's, like, still... Like, where does Daredevil take place? Where does this take place? Do they take place, like, back-to-back? I'm kind of shocked that we don't hear anything about the Hell Kitchen explosions that happened in Daredevil if this is taking place in Hell's Kitchen, which it does. Like, we don't hear about the Kingpin or anything. Like, you know, these little things that should be in there without...
They should, because they're I mean, if you're going to put them in the same city... They need to be, but maybe it just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Like maybe Jessica Jones is almost prefacing Daredevil, and then there's gonna be in the next like Daredevil season, there'll be like a crossover episode, almost like Arrow and Flash.
Well, they're doing the
Defenders.
Defenders.
They're playing towards that.
They're doing the Defenders, which is Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and Iron Fist getting together. So that's like the thing after they do Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Well, like. This clearly, like, Daredevil kind of took place in the summer or, like, spring, a little bit warmer weather. This one definitely takes place during the winter. So I don't know if it's, like, the very next winter or the winter after. Who knows? Doesn't matter.
Right.
I'd like something where, like, maybe even like a little gossip column of, does the Kingpin still run crime in jail? You know, something like that. Like, nothing, maybe I even missed it. I don't know. Just something to put the pieces together. Other than that, this show's fucking fantastic. Go watch it.
Watch all of it.
Go. Stop. Pause. Close this. Go to Netflix. Don't have Netflix? Month. Free. Go.
That means you, LB. That means you.
That means you.
You gotta watch it. You gotta watch the next episodes. I'm calling you out.
We're calling you shit out, LB.
You gotta do it. But you won't regret it. You won't be missing. You won't have that feel like there's so many good television shows out there right now that I feel like I'm committed and I'm obliged to watch it every week. I'm not excited. I'm like, damn it, I guess I've got to go like download Supergirl now. Got to go watch Supergirl so that I can talk about it around the office. But it's not one of those situations. You're excited. You're telling your friends you need to watch Jessica Jones. Like, you have to watch it. It's in, like, Bill and I talked about, the reason why I nerd out about it so much is because it's like the Dresden Files.
Except like, not shitty like the Dresden Files TV show.
It's Harry Dresden from the books in female form but not magical, but a superhero. I mean, like that's the way that I feel about it. And I'm a huge Dresden nerd, and I love him so much, and I love Jim Butcher, and I've read all of his books, and I can't wait to see where the rest of this season goes, and how much, like, I know it's not going to be around the same timeline, like, but here's to hoping that somewhere along the lines Netflix will be like, oh, Dresden, like, we could do a series of that. We've done Marvel. We can do science fiction better than sci-fi did. Like, please.
Please. And get James Marsters to play Harry Dresden, please.
Yes, please.
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 He is Dresden.
He is, though. He is.
Well, listen, everybody who doesn't know what's going on, go read Dresden, then do yourself a salad and get the audiobooks, because James Marsters owns the fucking role. Like, every line he delivers of Dresden is pure noir.
Perfect.
Pure. And that's what Jessica Jones is. Like,
Perfect.
she's perfect noir, where she's just like, I don't know what she says. She goes, finding, like, a job of a PI is finding the worst in people. Apparently I'm really good at that. And she throws some guy through a window or some shit like that. And you're like, okay, I like you. You're
I
fun.
like it.
So, we love it. Check in soon about the next 2 episodes. We're going to do 2, and then 3 for the finale, because we're crazy.
Yeah.
Go watch it. My dad watches it. That's really fucked up. My dad's like, dude, I watched Jessica Jones. I'm like, why'd you call me dude?
Bro, Jessica Jones,
bro. Let me pop my collar, yo. Oh, wait, it's buttoned down. It's anti-douched. What went there? My show, I don't care. Go watch Jessica Jones. Watch Daredevil. If you haven't, watch everything good. Go read Dresden.
Go read Dresden.
Go read Dresden.
Go read Dresden.
Go read. Okay, love you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.